It's the Grateful Dead live from Winterland, and we're on KSAN in San Francisco,
More Grateful
as
Dead
well as
to come.
KQED Channel 9. KQEC Channel 32 has signed off, so ignore the bottom of this if you can even read it, you with larger sets. At any rate, it's Channel 9 and KSAN at this point. We're going to be broadcasting through the rest of the night. The Dead will be coming back in a little while, and we have a surprise coming up. In fact, you fast readers might have seen a slide go on your screen for about a tenth of a second.
Subliminal. They call that subliminal.
Gave it away, but only for you fast people, you Evelyn Wood graduates. How you doing, Norm? Happy New Year.
Oh, fine. Happy New Year, Glenn. Yeah, we haven't officially, like, over the year wished each other Happy New Year. But Happy New Year, Glenn. And Happy New Year, everybody. We'll be here all night long. The Grateful Dead will be back. They'll be playing, we understand, 2 more sets.
Through the night.
Surprises to come, breakfast to come for the people who are here at Winterland with us. Tonight, of course, is the closing of Winterland. We discussed that at length earlier on in the show. Perhaps we'll be showing some of Scoop's interviews that he did earlier today with some of the Deadheads and with Bill Graham later on. But it's really an amazing event. I hope you are all tuned in to see the bringing in of the new year, the arrival of the new year, as only Bill Graham could do it, arriving in a mammoth flying joint, right, as dressed as Father Time. And he flew from one end of the stage, well, one end of the hall rather, from the rear of the hall on a cable, all the way to the stage at the stroke of approximately midnight.
The joint was equipped with a red headlight in the front to signify a burning front end, and some smoke coming out of the back of it.
With vehicles like that, Glenn, that's why they say getting there is half the fun, you know.
I saw it being brought backstage, Norm, after the concert, and about 30 people jumped on it and took it off into a side room. I never saw it again.
Oh, those are Jamaicans, Glenn. Yeah, and that's a tradition there.
Oh, I grew up in Jamaica myself, Norm. I went to Jamaica High. Well, anyway. The audience waiting. Whoops, and here we are waiting for the audience, who are waiting for the Grateful Dead to return. And some stuff is going to be happening in between. We're going to be bringing it to you when action returns to the stage. A lot of things have happened so far. We've had the new Riders of the Purple Sage.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that? That was a long
at
time
8 o'clock,
ago.
and that wasn't on TV. Some of you might have thought.
Well, do you think we can
that?
actually tell the people that? Oh, now we've been telling you it's a surprise up until now, but
wait,
they're
Glenn.
telling us. Norm, are you getting a call on the red
Hello?
phone?
Now we got a call. Wait. Yeah, this is on our hotline, Glenn. This tells us what's on the air.
No,
Hey,
no,
there
that's
we
not
are.
us. That's
There we
all
are
of
now,
them
right?
out there.
There on
We're
the
back
left
here.
there. Can you see me?
Here we are, but now you can't read our names anymore, and you probably have a short memory by now. Here we are.
No, is
Well,
that
Norm.
right? On New Year's Eve?
Really?
At Winterland? No.
I don't know if we can believe that, Norm.
Glenn, this is amazing.
It is truly
Are
astounding.
you eavesdropping?
Can we pass it on? Should we take calls from the audience, Norm?
Well, what the announcement that we just heard.
On the red phone, for those of you who are watching in black and white, or perhaps listening on your radios,
Oh, my.
and are not in the state of mind that many people here seem to be.
What's the announcement?
Well, the announcement is that there's going to be a very special surprise coming up next. And I don't think I'm going to give it away. Let's talk about something else instead, Norm.
Okay, well, how about some of the people who are here? We talked to a number of celebrities earlier on.
Well, we've talked to probably 10 people so far, and there must be 5,400 or more here, so we have a long way to go before we cover everybody.
Well, if there were subtitles on all the people involved, then they'll have been identified. But a number of the cast of Saturday Night Live were here, of course, to, well, I guess to help root for their compadres and the Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers did a great set, in fact. I hope everybody was tuned in early enough to catch it. With Joliet Jake and Elwood really well, and we saw them appear backstage with their, well, Elwood was still chained to his briefcase, and we never got to find out what was in it.
Right. That's right. And of course, they had that all-star band behind them, people who've been on records that are considered history, you know, Steve Cropper and Duck Dunn, and some all-star studio musicians, too. Tom Malone, Steve Jordan, Lou Marini, Matt Murphy, Alan Rubin, Tom Scott, the illustrious Tom Scott, and Paul Schaefer, who talked with us briefly, who's the music director of Saturday Night Live.
Norm, what a memory you have, coming up with all those names just like that.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's right there, Glenn. I'm right there.
And it seems so long ago, because since then we've had some time to get ready for New Year's, and then we have had New Year's, and it's 1979 now.
Do you have any resolutions, Glenn? I mean, any offhand that you could think of? I mean, anything you'd like to share with our viewers?
I don't think I have any I'd like to share with our viewers, as a matter
They're all kind
of fact.
of private and personal?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people who listen to you on the radio probably are sort of surprised to see what you look like. You know?
Well, actually, people don't realize that I'm really Norm and that you're Glenn, and that they've had the titles reversed all night. But, you know, we decided to go along with it rather than have them turn the slide over, because then it would have said Norm Reiner and Mel Bremel, and they wouldn't have understood that either. So
I hadn't thought of it that
we'll just
way.
pretend that I'm Glenn and this is Norm here. Well, I don't know, Norm. One of the things about radio is that people don't come up to us on the street and recognize us, and this could really end all that. We could be assaulted by hordes of screaming people tomorrow.
I don't know, Glenn. I wonder how many people who are watching us right now can really focus. Let's try a quick TV test, shall we? How many fingers am I holding up? Oh, here's a call. Hello? Yes, and where are you calling from? Oh, Fremont? Really? And how many fingers are they holding up? No, I'm sorry. 6 is not the right answer. Well,
That's
wrong
terrible.
on that
Try
one, Glenn.
adjusting the vertical hold control in the back of your set if you're having trouble with this test. Well, I see that a lot of our listeners and viewers passed it. In fact, some of the people who were only listening saw how many fingers you were holding up. They must be having an awfully good time tonight, Norm, those people.
Oh, I think so. People are having a great time here. I mean, all those balloons cascading down onto the crowd, the flying
Coneheads.
joint, and all that great music. Those Grateful Dead.
And the Flying Karamazov brothers, speaking of flying, who performed on the stage earlier tonight. We picked up a little bit of their act between the Blues Brothers and the arrival of New Year's Eve. And the Karamazovs are around. We're hoping to get them on camera a little bit later to maybe juggle some torches or throw some sickles right through your TV screen. They do an amazing act.
Well, here you have a shot of the crowd here at Winterland. As Glenn said, I think the official capacity is 5,400 people. Of course, the ranks are swelled tonight with celebrities and people who want to have a piece of history. You know, the Bill Grimm mentioned before, of course, how difficult it was to obtain tickets for this event. I mean, he did it almost lottery style, and people from the Bay Area, of course, had the top priority. But there were people here from all over the country, people from all over the continent, who were trying to obtain tickets to the Dead and who were willing to pay exorbitant sums for tickets. People were selling tickets for several $100s out here this afternoon.
Well, I think that Bill said that they had 500,000 people who ended up at the outlets for tickets, and they had, of course, only 5,000. So you people with pocket calculators out there in the audience will figure out what the odds were on that one. But lots of people who wish they were here, and I hope that most of you are out there watching it on television.
And of course, many of the people who wanted to come and can see it on television, or at least can see that how crowded it is here, and they might feel happier being able to have access to their refrigerator or their shoebox or whatever, you know. There
Norm, yeah, actually, could you move over a little bit? It is awfully crowded here.
Are you
well,
crowded?
that's okay.
No, this is ample space. Well, let's see now. We're looking at our programs here for the evening.
Well, I've just been told that we're going to have tape next. Now, I don't know what this means. I don't know what the tape is going to be. It could be adhesive, it could be Mystic, it could be Scotch. But in any case, we're going to have some tape coming up in just a few seconds. You watch and you tell us exactly what it is. And we are live from Winterland. That's Scoop Nisker with a tape segment that was recorded earlier in the day. I'm Glenn Lambert. That's
I'm
Norm Weiner. We're back here with funny hats and noisemakers.
Yep. In the New Year's spirit here.
Happy New Year.
Hats.
And for those of you who are just tuning in, what have you been doing before this?
What do you
We're
call this,
broadcasting, well, I call it a simulcast. We're broadcasting on KSAN and stereo, 95 FM, and we're also on Channel 9 TV. Some of the people who are watching or listening are probably receiving us tonight without the aid of radio or TV, because I know this is a very extravagant night for a lot of people.
Those are some amazing people out there today. You know, they've been on television a lot. They've been on. They've gotten newspaper coverage and stuff. But the Deadheads really are an entity unto themselves. There's really nothing like a Deadhead, and
something about Scoop Nisker brings them out too. Scoop really.
I don't know if you'd
the
say.
Best ones.
Yeah, Scoop brings out the best in them or the worst in them. It's hard to figure. Yeah. Are you having a good time tonight, Glenn?
I'm having a real good time. Yeah.
You're a Deadhead. You're one of KSAN's resident Deadheads,
Well,
I'd say.
As a matter of fact, the first concert that I ever went to in San Francisco was a Grateful Dead concert. It was here at Winterland on a New Year's Eve. And it was also the first time that I ever attempted to drive a shift car. I was driving a Volkswagen and getting to the top of the San Francisco hills, you know, made it for a particularly interesting New Year's Eve. Back in the hall, people are just waiting for stuff to happen. And everyone is expecting that there will be some surprises that aren't mentioned on the marquee tonight.
And of course, the Grateful Dead will be back. They tell us that they'll be playing at least 2 more sets. But we're waiting to see what happens, and of course the audience is. There's going to be breakfast at dawn in the morning, or relatively close to dawn.
This crowd is one of the most well-behaved crowds that has been seen at a New Year's Eve in a while. The Graham security people have been commenting on how easy it's been to deal with the people. A really peaceful and very happy crowd here at Winterland tonight. It looks like we have some special guests right here while we wait for anyone to appear on the stage.
Well, maybe we should explain to people, Glenn, too, that we're right now we're sitting backstage, and
Can you guys stand up?
we're sitting
Yeah, this
backstage, and we're trying to see who's here and grab them so they could give their respective New Year's greetings to the people watching it on TV and listening on the radio.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think you guys will need no introduction to the TV audience.
Certainly not. I should hope not.
Here we are.
Absolutely.
We've got here Bob Weir right next to me. He's up there playing rhythm guitar. You guys sound great
Thank
tonight.
you.
It's real hot. Mickey Hart.
Happy New Year.
We were just talking about past Grateful Dead New Year's Eve concerts for us. And this is, our statistics say this is number 12 for you at Winterland. And
It looks like we played here 54 times or something.
54 times?
Something like that.
Amazing.
we have all kinds of numbers about that. Nobody can quite remember. You know, my memory's hazy about some of the New Year's Eves. Even
Our
this
memories
one.
are understandably hazy, too.
How does it make you feel to think you might never play at Winterland again?
Well, you know, I'm beginning to get fond of this place. I used to hate it because it's sort of an acoustical snake pit. But we've sort of learned to work with the place over the years, and it's going to be kind of sad to see it go. But nonetheless, there's got to be a better place somewhere around.
Get Uncle Bobo to build us a place, Bobby.
Yeah.
You know, you got the talent. All you need is a barn, and you can put on
Maybe
a
you can
show.
build us a place and give
Yeah,
it to us and we can run it.
if all the people out there listening and watching would send Bill some encouraging mail, encouraging him
Get it on, Bill.
to get it on and build a place, that really a good place for rock and
Place
roll.
for rock and roll.
I mean, just keep those letters coming all the time.
Don't let up.
Don't let up. Don't give him
Let
a
Uncle
moment's,
Bobo know what you really want.
no mercy. Maybe he'll give in.
I guess this is where they should superimpose the address where they can send their cards and letters now, but I don't know if we have that ready.
Well, you can see that. You can see that in the phone book, Fillmore Management or whatever. FM Productions. FM Productions. Send your cards and letters to Bill Graham, care of FM Productions, telling him to please build a good place for rock and roll.
Bob, you were born and raised in San Francisco. Did you ever come here when you were a kid for events and stuff?
Sure. Well, not here. Well, I don't think I ever saw the ice show here. I never did. The rest of my family did, but I wasn't much interested.
You went into ice skating or
No.
political conventions, whatever they had?
No. This is also the place where some famous boxing event happened, a really famous boxing event a long time ago, 1929 or something. The one thing about this place is it really is kind of a hazard. One time we were playing a sound check, getting everything tweaked up, and we hit a big thunderous chord, and a great huge section of plaster fell out of the ceiling and landed on the floor. David Crosby was sitting out there listening, and it landed, maybe 6 feet behind him, and it was about 6 by 6 feet, big enough to really ice somebody.
Well, I was hearing a story earlier tonight about that happening during one of your shows last year, that Phil hit the perfect bass note and brought down a shower of plaster from the ceiling. Well, maybe you guys could end up by just tearing the place down yourselves tonight.
It wouldn't be that hard to do.
Well, it's a long night. We understand you're going to play a couple more sets and go for a long time tonight.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of old favorites in the first set, and a few new ones mixed in.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
We don't know what we're going to do.
Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about, because you haven't certainly been on television in the Bay Area since you've been back from Egypt. Really, maybe you could tell our viewers a little bit about that, about the experience, if you can. I mean, I know you're deluged with New Year's Eve sentiments right now and everything, but
I really don't know what to think. I haven't organized my thoughts about
It would
Egypt.
take longer to talk about Egypt than we have now because we have to go back and play. But sometime I'd like to come and talk to you about it if you're interested.
it would be
place is
great.
amazing.
Right now, we have to go back and play in about 10
You
minutes.
had
Listen.
Hamza Al-Din and a whole bunch of people who joined you in Egypt, yeah.
He's here this evening, and maybe we can get him to play with us. He's a fine musician. He's one of the friends we've met going to Egypt, and he's come back and he plays with us once in a while, and it's a great influence on our music.
Yeah, we heard him recently when Kaysan was part of your broadcast from New Jersey, and
Thanksgiving.
great moment in the broadcast when the percussionists and the hand clappers all started doing it.
It was much better last night.
Yeah, we did it last night again. Maybe we'll do it again tonight.
Practice makes perfect.
Last night, where were you?
In Paula
LA.
Pavilion, UCLA.
Yeah, that's right. We had people clapping in 12 beats. That last time we were in Winterland, that last night with Hamza.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, that was really exciting. The whole audience clapping at 12 beats. That was very.
Well, they didn't know.
Well, they didn't know it was 12, but that's what it was.
Well, I guess you have to go. I guess you have to get going back there.
I think so.
That's what we're told.
Be
There are
going.
people
No, I think we should be
signaling
going.
frantically
is that
to
a
us.
signal to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Let's go, Bob. We've said enough,
Right,
Bob. Let's go.
Really well tactful
Happy
guests.
New Year.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year. That's Bob Weir and Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead, joining us here backstage at Winterland.
Did you say Phil Lesh?
No, I did say Phil Lesh. Bob Weir and Mickey Hart.
That's what I thought you said, yeah.
Really, thank
Hey,
you,
it's a
Norm.
good thing I'm here, Glenn.
It's a good thing I'm not here, Norm, because I could certainly be embarrassing if I was.
I'll tell you, there are people walking around here. I think some of them have been tested. They are in altered states of consciousness. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Well, some of the people have just had minor alterations around some parts of their clothing, but a lot of them, it seems like the whole consciousness has been taken in a whole lot.
This is a lot more than a concert. And certainly the fact that this is being brought to you on television and on the radio at the same time, it tries to bring that home partly to you. But the fact that there's so many people here and the amount of feelings and nostalgia and sentiment and just good vibes.
The hall
like they
is
used to say.
the hall is decorated with memories of the past, and we just had a couple of shots, a close shot of a Steve Miller picture, and some of the other posters that are around Winterland from
There's
shows
some-
in the past. Here's some of our memorabilia.
Party
right here in
paraphernalia
front of
there.
you. Tiaras, all these things were handed out to people at the door of Winterland as they came in tonight. Many of them even are unembarrassed enough to wear them, but not us.
This is the good old-fashioned noisemaker. I think over the years, this has really been my favorite. There have been birthday parties, there have been New Year celebrations, but these I think are my favorite noisemakers. The ones that roll out, kind of. You know, Glenn?
I don't even know what those are called, Norm. I think there must be a name for them, and I'm sure that some of our listeners have it on the tip of their proverbial tongue, but I don't know what they're called. Oh, I think we have another guest being ushered in here, and just when they took the chairs away.
Pardon me?
How do you do?
I do all right.
I'm Glenn Lamb.
Hi.
We're coming to you live from Winterland,
Say that way.
and we're waiting for some more music to take place.
Do a thing here quick with. I got to explain this thing to Mickey about the Thunder Machine, what you're going to be playing there.
Okay, that's what we
The
wanted to
Thunder
talk to you
Machine.
about.
Okay, it's pieces of the old original Thunder Machine plus some new things added. The Boise Thunder Machine.
Okay.
And the basic idea, which is stringing car fenders together and hooking strings across it and tightening them, but the whole thing moves, so it goes twang, twang, twang. The main mistake is people beat on it too much. Right. As Mountain Girl says, we got to keep the melons off of it. Okay. It has a bass in the back. It has a thing that hooks up on the top that you pull like this, and that basses. It has a thing inside of it, so there are 4 pickups coming out of it, hooked into the sound system. And you guys just the nod. Yeah, we're into the sound system. So you guys are, when you go into the Rhythm Devils thing, we will move it out into its position. I have to get inside of it.
Okay.
We'll play it. When we play long enough, pick us up and haul us off. Chuck has his cannon here too.
Oh, marvelous. What could we do?
If this is what we were worried about, he wanted to talk to somebody about the
No,
cannon.
it's okay. It's
Okay,
okay.
cannon's okay.
Anything's okay. As long as it won't blow us off the stage.
I hope not. It never has yet. Never blowed nobody, hurt nobody yet.
That's better than I did.
It's loud, is all.
It's loud. Cool. Okay.
But it might hit that ball that hangs in the middle. That's what we're going to shoot at. It'll give us a thing to work for.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Happy New Year, Ken.
Okay, Happy New Year, Mickey. Good to see you.
Well, I think that explains it pretty well. That was Ken Kesey explaining that to Mickey Hart.
Here, sir.
Oh, we're on TV, so we're almost everywhere. Actually, that's not us at the moment, but we're broadcasting on KSAN. There you are, looking somewhat like yourself. And we're on Channel 9 in San Francisco.
Oh, good.
We're broadcasting all night here.
Well, that's good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Now what?
Well, I don't know. What? Tell us something about the Grateful Dead from way back when.
What's he want?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, well, they told us to go ahead and finish it.
Dead?
I guess we're going to finish it. So finish it.
The Dead are, they're the only really working alchemists. They understand why people come to these things, and it's rock and roll is a side product of it. They know that something builds and builds, and that if it isn't brought off, it erupts someplace else. And the Dead have built a reputation of being able to stroke a thing just the way that the wind strokes the clouds until finally it attracts the lightning out of the ground. Well put, Keezy. Yeah, they're good, you know. They're classy. This thing in Egypt was super classy.
Were you in Egypt?
Yeah. Damned Rolling Stone. They gave it about that much, but it was incredibly good. There was a thing on KSFO about what had class. They were talking about Superman, as whether Superman had class this last year. They were giving it, this is a class status or tacky. They were giving it class until they found out that it had $25 million spent for advertisement, and that's tacky. So it didn't get class. And as I was watching this, there was somebody called and said, the Dead in Egypt had class, super class. They played to like 700-800 people and millions of other people, and were doing the same thing that was trying to be done, only they were doing it actually with music. Trying to move our scale in with their scale. They were trying to mesh the two musical and philosophical and religious forms.
How did the people respond? Did they heard of
They
the Dead
understood it.
before? Yeah.
Egyptians we've been having an affair with Egypt. You know, we're like the key and they're like the lock, and they can't work without us. And they dug us being over there. They dug the Dead a lot. They chanted Miki, because they thought he was Saudi. In fact, he's looking more and more like it. And you know, it cost them $500,000, and they probably sold 1,300 tickets. And then they worked that off by working concerts. You know, they just come back from 4 nights of hard, bust-ass rock and roll labor. You know, they've got a tremendous backlog of integrity that nobody denies them. They could rest, and yet they don't. They continue to work as hard as they can all the time. And it was like, it made me think of the Satchmo thing. Remember when Louis Armstrong went to Russia?
Yeah.
That whole feeling, that was why it was happening. Okay. Is that enough?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
Happy New Year to you.
Ken Kesey.
Who knows what's going to happen next? That's Ken Kesey talking to us about his experiences with the Grateful Dead and having a whole other experience even as he spoke.
He must have seen the Dead hundreds of times, thousands of times.
What have we here, Norm? Is this a light show, or was it one of the people in the audience?
There's more of the people in the audience there. They're all...
It's harder and harder to tell them apart.
This is a great way to spend a New Year's Eve. I mean, now that Guy Lombardo's no longer with us, I mean, this is, considering the sort of fare that Dick Clark offers every year, some of that was on earlier tonight on Network. I mean, this is really the sort of way that people would want to bring in the new year. Couldn't ask for better music. The guests, it's an all-star cast here. We got an all-star cast, Glenn.
Not to mention the stars who haven't even been on camera here. A lot of
The
people
shy
from the
ones.
Saturday night crew were around. Lorraine Newman was roaming, but never made it here. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were here to see Joliet, Jake, and Elwood, the Blues Brothers. So I guess they're just one of their favorite acts. They follow them everywhere.
Yeah, they've been die-hard Blues Brothers fans for quite some time, as I
There's Jim
understand.
Morrison.
Well, these are some of the things we were talking about before. These are specially made sort of tapestries, would you say, that are hanging on the walls of Winterland. Anyone who's been to Winterland before has never seen these. These were done just for the occasion, and they probably weren't done before because they wouldn't have lasted very long. But they have these miniature murals representing certain acts and certain groups that have played here over the years, and they stayed on those plaques when the first time was that they might have played here, or when the significant date was. Bruce Springsteen played here for the first time just earlier this month. One thing for sure is Winterland certainly closed with a splash. Or was it a bang? I mean, some great concerts. Last night, Tom Petty and Greg Kihn, you were telling me about that today, Glenn.
That was only yesterday. The next to last concert at Winterland. Tonight, of course, is the last one. The 553rd concert that Bill Graham has put on here at Winterland. Well, among the people who have been roaming around backstage here at Winterland are the Flying Karamazov brothers, who we're going to get them out here to do a little bit of juggling for us. And this might take a little bit of quick set changing here backstage. I think we're going to have to make some room.
Well, Glenn, I'll tell you, this is something I was really looking forward to because, I mean, you know, there's only so much that we could do on the radio, but jugglers, I mean, not only are the Flying Karamazov brothers my favorite jugglers.
Well, if there was ever a time for our radio listeners to turn on their TVs to channel 9 KQED, I think this has got to be it. Otherwise, they'd better have good imaginations.
It's a rare opportunity to see some immortal juggling. And the sort of implements that they'll be juggling, there's one very relaxed member of the crowd. The sort of objects that they'll be juggling will keep you on the edges of your seats, or water beds, depending upon.
It's pretty hard to keep on the edge of a waterbed, Norm, particularly while juggling. You want to play by play?
Are you going to come on here to our set? Come on. Flying Karamazov brothers, did you perform already earlier tonight, or you're going to perform later on, too?
Yeah, we are going to perform later on, too.
Both of these things are true.
I see.
We'll be in the midst of that thing that Kesey was talking about, probably, during the Thunder Machine playing.
Oh, yes, yeah.
All the rhythm craziness. Maybe we'll come out and do some fire.
Do you have, Glenn, perhaps you should get on the other side so we can cover them with all our microphones.
Well, I don't want to get too close to those sickles, Norm.
Well, we'll back up when they do the sabers there.
Days, so.
It's been days, really? Yeah. How many? How many days without an accident in industrialized?
How many do we have? Well, let's see. I need all of mine, so I'm gonna.
Ow! We're doing fine.
Now that's a real scythe. Is that the sort of thing? Sickle?
Yeah. Cultural sickle. Just a plain
Agribusiness.
Oh, you are the Karamazovs. I forgot.
Right.
Genuine.
Yes.
These are non-political.
Yeah. Anarchist sickles.
and that object in your hand?
Well, this is a Pakistani taxi cab horn.
Otherwise known as the toot horn. Where's the toot horn, Howard?
Got it.
There was someone in the bathroom here before at Winterland asking for the toot horn, I think. I think that's what they're saying.
Oh. It's snowing outside. It's been moonlighting.
That's somebody said something like that. I don't know. Well, should we step back, or do you want us to be nearby?
I think we'd
or
better,
do you
as a
need
matter of fact.
microphones?
Yeah, we do kind of need microphones.
Be
So.
within space. We won't hurt you.
We won't hurt you. Honest.
How about if we get a little further away and you talk a little
We're
louder?
insured by Yoids of Mexico.
We'll project. We do
Okay. Just step back a little bit. Can I stand on the other side, further away from the sickle?
I'm sorry, Norm. You got it.
Gotta get stereo coverage on this thing.
Can we have this down on the camera?
Ladies, gentlemen, and friends, death and destruction,
Fire and fear.
decay and despair, blood and gore, joy and merriment. A display of jugglery
Legerdemain.
and prestidigitation as seldom before seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
The Flying Karamazov Brothers. Ho! Now, in the jugglery of simple spheres, one is concerned only with the location of the juggling subject.
Its orientation is not significant.
For, no matter how you catch it, a sphere is still a sphere. It has no length, width,
Breadth, depth,
height, handle,
hilt,
edge, point, or
blade.
However, with the addition to the pattern of an object of unusual shape, size, or balance, the trick becomes a great deal more complex. For one is concerned not only with the location,
But with the orientation of the juggling subject as well.
for, you see,
There's only one end of a sickle.
that one can catch more than once. Now, this is a trick involving great danger and risk. These are ordinary agribusiness sickles. They have been treated in no way, shape, or form, and in fact, sharp. Don't worry, I have a degree in English literature. In fact, it certifies that I'm totally harmless and I'm not really like this. Really honest. And now, for your amusement, we would like to juggle not one, not two,
Not three.
not four, not five, but 6 razor-sharp sickles at a single time while you look on in awe. Aww. That's your cue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try that one more time with a bit of enthusiasm. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Well, for an audience, a bit disappointing.
For rock and roll.
About average. Here we go. 6 sickles. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You don't sound too impressed. Oh, I suppose you'd like us to juggle all 6 at once, huh?
Is that it?
Bloodthirsty
That's
vultures.
just you jackals.
Yuck.
Too much American television.
Sex and violence
Without the violence.
All right,
here we go.
Ready. Ready.
Up. Up. Ho.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, watch your language.
English, what's yours? 3, 3, 3. Huh. Not yet. You think you're excited? Oh, whoops. I think one of the wires broke. 3 straights. Ready. Up. Here we go. Here comes the good part.
Oh,
Whoops.
hold it.
One more time. La-di-da. Up. 1, 2.
That's it. Oh. Oh. Well,
That's it.
Wow.
that cookie was real.
I don't think I've ever. Gosh, I don't think I've ever stretched my arm out that far. I've never had to stay that far away from juggling.
Thank you. You guys are very brave.
Why, thanks.
Foolish, perhaps.
But certainly not as brave or foolish as either of you are.
Well, that's
Happy New
true.
Year.
Yeah. And same to you.
Yes,
Same
Happy
number of
New Year.
fingers as when you got here?
And I hope you catch everything you throw.
Almost. Very nearly.
Yeah, me too. Oh, God.
Or vice versa. Thank you. Happy New Year.
That's been several of the Flying Karamazov brothers out of a possible even more. And
Yeah, what's the difficulties? You know, we have certain limitations here on our stage.
we have a low ceiling and a fairly high floor at this point. And they did pretty amazingly considering.
That was pretty well. They did that on their knees. I know they usually don't get on their knees. But the Grateful Dead are about to return to the stage, Glenn. We're live from Winterland for New Year's Eve. We hope you're all enjoying your evening.
Just settle back, watch Channel 9, and listen to K-San. It's going to be music for a while.